I started CrossFit I think I saw and found CrossFit in like 2010, and I had just started working out because I was going out and kind of partying and doing really nothing too valuable with my time. And I started exercising and it made me feel really good. And then somebody introduced me to CrossFit, and CrossFit was like a really fun, like forever changing version of that. And I guess I got so excited by how it made me feel and the purpose that it gave me every day. I had somewhere to go and do something really good that like physically and mentally felt really good. And then, you know, as I started to develop with the sport, I couldn't help but be passionate about what it had done for me. And then I kind of wanted to share that with other people as well. It's one thing to start something and to get involved in something, but it's another thing to stay with it, to keep working hard despite the fact that it's really hard sometimes and it's hard to fit into your schedule, or you're tired or working or whatever it is. It's just doing whatever you can to keep moving forward all the time and make it a part of your life. I think every single day, and from when I was a child, has contributed to where I am now. The way that my mum raised me and the things that she taught me from way back as a tiny little girl has contributed to how I am as an athlete now. So when I first realised that I liked competitive CrossFit, that was, 2012, I think it was, and I've been working every single day. So it was many years of working every single day and in and outside of the gym to try and be where I am today. But a lot of why I consider myself to be successful, and I'm really proud of what I do now, has come from the person I was before I started being an athlete, and that pretty much comes from my mum. I could have quit 1,000 times. I think there's nothing I've really ever done in my life, because I started CrossFit when I was so young, there's nothing I've really ever done that was super, super hard, because I didn't have a sporting kind of background, a competitive background or anything like that before, that I saw through all the way to the end. And this has been so hard and such a massive roller coaster. And there's days where, you're injured or tired, or your friends are doing things that you can't do because, you need to train tomorrow and you need to go to bed early or whatever. And it is really hard. But I think I realized a little while ago that what I do was my choice, and I chose to do it because it makes me feel better than any of those other things would. So, despite the fact that in the moment when you're emotional, you want to quit, for the bigger picture and for what it does for my life, it's way more valuable than that one little kind of weak moment. And if I can keep remembering that, what it does rather than what it doesn't do, it's a lot easier to keep moving forward. I get to essentially teach people about something that changed my life, something that makes me really excited and something that I believe in. I love training and I love what it's done for my life and just for me outside of the gym, and also all of the great amazing things that it's done for me, the people that it's brought into my life. So it's really easy to want to share that with other people and teach them about something that I love, in the hope that maybe it could have the same effect on them. The way you approach workouts, for me, it's a lot more methodical and there's a lot more mental process behind it. It's starting to ingrain good ways to respond to things is something that I will implement a lot more in a preparation phase. Obviously, you have to prep your body physically, so getting accustomed to volume and intensity and being able to physically handle that, when you go into competition without breaking. But a huge part for me is about speeding up my responses and my appropriate responses that are going to move me forward, rather than letting myself, go down a bad, psychological pathway in a workout or in a competition. Because ultimately we can all do really great things, but what happens on the floor comes down to what happens up here. At this time of year when I'm in a building phase, it's not as much of a focus. There's other areas that are a little bit more important. I am definitely trying to build more of an aerobic base and trying to like stop being so anaerobic, so powerful, and try and get a little bit of balance in my abilities. So I'm definitely doing that like a few times a week. And then it will increase as I get a little bit closer to competition. So it just depends. It's always incorporated in a well-balanced program. You can't neglect it, but it will increase at certain times throughout the year depending on what the focus is. I had this dream of like having no rules where we'll get a cake, because I like cake, it has to be a certain kind of cake, but we'll get a cake and then eat it without cutting it. So we'll just get like forks and just sit there with the whole cake and just like pick at the cake. We did that for my birthday, and I can't like eat certain things, like I can't eat eggs and things at the moment, like I'm intolerant to them. So Maddie, my partner, went and got this big like vegan cake, but it was like still really naughty, like it's still full of sugar, and it just doesn't have the things that make me sick. And we went to go get dinner, but our dinner was taking too long, so we sat down waiting for our dinner with a giant cake for just two of us and a fork, like in this restaurant, just eating the cake like before dinner, and then ate our dinner afterwards, and that was like perfect cheat day. I have always been a little bit of like I guess a holistic kind of athlete, and I do try and get most of my nutrition through my food and a good diet. I think that's really important. But then being a competitive athlete, you kind of need a little bit of extra help. We push the limits a little bit further than your average diet will allow you sometimes, so that's where you need to add that, say like magnesium and things like that to. It's the things you wouldn't think about to help you sleep, to keep your cortisol levels down, and then obviously you've got your protein and things like that to help for that recovery side of things as well. It would be just to give it a try. Like I definitely don't think that there was one way to tell a woman or a man that they should or shouldn't do any kind of sport. I just look at people as people who want to exercise, and CrossFit is something. It's a strength and conditioning program that's accessible by males, females, young, old, like of every different ability possible. I would just say that whoever you are, if you want to start CrossFit, don't look at something like the competitive athletes of the CrossFit Games. Look at CrossFit for CrossFit and just understand that you can achieve a certain stimulus no matter who you are, but you might need to scale things down and just be on your own journey. Give it a try. Don't be overwhelmed by the crazy side of things, the big elaborate world of, say, the CrossFit Games, and just understand it for what it is and just give it a try and give it a decent amount of time. Find yourself a good affiliate, someone that can teach you how to do it well. I think that's really, really important so that you're learning the movements right and they can guide you through the journey and scale it accordingly and teach you all of the movements. That's probably my best advice to anyone, and forget any associations that are with it and find the right people that can just teach you how to do it well. I always said that I would never open up a CrossFit affiliate, and then here we are, and I've opened up a CrossFit affiliate 7 weeks ago. The reason that I actually opened it up was sharing my passion and trying to provide a space actually for myself and the people around me. It becomes a business-minded thing eventually, and that's a huge part of it, but it has been so amazing just to watch people come in and just, like, sometimes I'll be training in the corner and I just sit back and I watch everyone in this class swinging around on the, pull-up rig that I've worked so hard for. I'm like, I've been working out really, really hard for years to be able to pay for that rig that these people are having a good time on, and it's such a rewarding feeling just to be able to share that. It's really cool. I haven't been frightened at any point about opening a box. I was never worried about, like how many people were coming in or anything like that. I'd say the only thing that was maybe slightly frightening was I just wanted to do it well, and I wanted it to be really good and to not have people to be disappointed. And that was just me holding myself and what is representing me to a high standard. That's probably the only thing, is that you just want it to, I want people to walk in and be like, this is amazing, because I think it's amazing. That was probably the only thing. The stressful side of it is just, you know, paperwork and trying to manage people and set things up in time frames, and like just little things like that that you would get in absolutely any business that definitely aren't. This is pretty selfish, but I really like that I own my own gym, because I can train whenever and however I want, and the little bit of stress that you get being a business owner is so worth it in the end, by having this place that I can walk into and, like, if I need to take time off work or whatever, I can. If I need to not coach, I can. If I want to coach and I want to be there and I want to help people out, and because that gives back to me too, and if I feel like I need that, I can do that too. If I need to train at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night because that's just what needs to be done for whatever reason, I have the flexibility to do that. I write the roster. So, you know, my partner, he's a firefighter and he works like a forever changing roster. And I can roster us on together, and we can coach a class together on a Thursday night, and then we can go and get dinner and we can spend time together. It's like the little things like that that just make life nice, you know? I like really basic CrossFit. I like some barbell stuff. I like gymnastics, but like simple, kind of technical, but simple gymnastics. Like I love something, say, with lots of snatches and bar muscle ups and burpees in a row. Like something that's like a little bit of everything, you know? And I like, my favorite structure of a workout is usually a chipper. I get really excited doing one movement and then getting rid of it, moving on to a new movement. I get bored really easily, so when I get to change and then not do that anymore and be done with it, I tend to do really well. I had one goal my whole entire life, and I grew up in a single parent household. My mum worked so hard, and she struggled really hard for a really long time, and we were pretty poor for most of my life. And the only thing that I ever wanted was to own my own home. I've said it a lot of times before, I wanted to be able to own my own home, and I wanted to be able to pay the bills and just live a really comfortable life and not have to stress. And I did that years ago, and I've owned a couple of properties now, and so I was pretty content. Everything else is a bonus. I just want to enjoy what I'm doing, have really good people around me, which I always do, and be able to contribute in some way, be able to contribute to my family. I want to stop competing at some point and have a family and, you know, just do normal life. Like, and if I can just have a really good, happy, healthy life with the people around me, you know, on a bit of property somewhere, then that's my dream. I don't really want anything more than that.